friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. I'm over here near my wall of flowers, which I've never done before, but we're starting it. I've already started planting it, and I wanted to do a video dedicated to what the wall of flowers, what it even is, how I have tried to design it. So as you can see, we're using this weed fabric this year, and I felt like I really needed to provide some extra pollinating flowers for the bees and the butterflies, and even the wasp. Unfortunately, they're great pollinators though. And I wanted to provide some extra food for them, but I also wanted to try my hand at doing more of like a design thing. So I wanted to talk about how I incorporated what we're doing to get, I want to try to achieve like a cascading type effect with this wall of flowers. So I'm going to talk to you about these specific varieties I have chosen for that purpose. And then I'm going to show you how to actually plant the flowers in this weed fabric. We use a no-till method, so this ground underneath this weed fabric nothing has been done to it. It hasn't been prepped, it hasn't been tilled, it hasn't been fertilized, it hasn't been amended. We will do all of those things using two tools, which I will show you and demonstrate at the end of this video, so stay tuned. If you would like help planting a productive garden, scroll down to the description box of this video and click this link for a free garden printable. We calculated quantities for a year's supply of the most common garden vegetables and organized them into a neat chart to help you plan. We'll send it straight to your inbox. If you're new here, we invite you to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming tutorials on gardening and food preservation, food storage, and more. So just real quick, I want to give you an idea of how big this wall of flowers is going to be. You can see our first few holes start right over there, and it spans the entire width of the garden that is now covered in weed fabric. It's approximately 40 holes, and there are 3 rows of them, so about 120 holes. This is about a 50-foot row, 3 rows, approximately 120 little clumps of flowers. So that gives you an idea for size, and let's talk about these specific varieties I've chosen. It's really hard to work with this guy hanging out with me. His cuteness is distracting. You hear me talking about you. You hear me talking about you. Yes, you do. Okay, so let's talk about the actual details about the flower design. So I had 3 primary goals with this flower wall. Number 1 was to achieve kind of a cascading effect where it starts off tall at the back row and goes down kind of like a tiered, and then the front row right here be more of the really short and almost like a ground cover type flower. So I researched the heights of different plants to achieve that. The second goal that I had was I don't want to see this black weed fabric when everything is said and done, when everything is in full bloom. I want there to not be a whole bunch of gaps. So to achieve that, I tried to sprinkle in, so each row isn't the same type of flower, which we'll talk about in just a minute. I tried to sprinkle in things that were some were tall with a flower on top, and some were more of a bush habit type flower that would kind of cover in the gaps. The third goal that I had was to get a continuous bloom, for it to be flowers galore constantly all season long. So each flower species, they bloom all at once. And so I tried to sprinkle in different flower species that might bloom really early, like in late May, June. I tried to find some that would bloom kind of in July time, and then I tried to find some that were long lasting where the blooms just continued to come in. That would take me all the way through August, because ultimately I want constant pollination source of food for the pollinators all summer long, but I want beauty all summer long, something nice to look at. So that is what led me to choose the seeds and flower varieties that we're about to talk about. So like I said, the back wall, I wanted it to be really tall, so of course I went with sunflowers. And I'd have sunflowers, gladiolas, and snapdragons. The sunflowers I have are in the 8 to 10 feet tall range. The gladiolas are beautiful. They're about 6 feet, gonna get about 6 feet tall. That's what those look like if you've never had gladiolas before, but they're just so pretty. I got a miscellaneous color pack, so it'll be just a bunch of different colors. And then snapdragons, they have a habitat similar to the gladiolas, where it's going to be a long green stem, and then the cluster of flowers is just only at the top, and it's like a vertical row or column of flowers. So those are kind of sprinkled out. I've got like sunflower, gladiolus, snapdragon, sunflower, gladiolus, snapdragon, all the way down. 40 holes on each row, so 120 holes total if I haven't mentioned that already. The middle row is, of course, the middle tier. So I went with things that were going to be around 3 foot tall, maybe between 2 and 3 foot tall. So I went with zinnias. Zinnias are just, I think they're just gorgeous, and they come in all sorts of different colors. And I got some polar bear zinnias, which are like a creamy white. And then I got this multicolor pack of zinnias from the Dollar Tree. It's like pinks and reds and oranges. Here's that polar bear, so pretty. I really hope those bloom. They're gonna be so pretty. And then I got some, my husband is a Florida State fan. I got some garnet and gold for him. I thought that would be kind of fun. So those grow to around 3 feet tall. So then I did poppies, which I already have some sprouted out here. I don't know if you can see like little pops of green and stuff. Those are plants, transplants that I've already put out that I winter sowed in those milk jugs. So poppies, I got some white ones. I was hoping, oh yeah, here they are. Those are so pretty. They're white as well. And then I still just have some mixture of yellows and oranges for color variations. And then Cosmos is going on that same row that's in the 2 to 3 foot tall area. I did the Bright Lights Cosmos, but to get more of my oranges in there because I feel like I didn't have a ton of orange in there. And then last but not least is lavender in that row. I used all my lavender seeds, so I don't have a packet for that. But they also get to be about 2 feet tall, and that's going to be just little splashes of purple in there. So the last row, the row closest to me, is going to be the shortest row that I'm hoping to achieve more of like a ground cover bush habit type flowers with. So what I went with those is anything in the 1 foot range or below, or 18-inch range or below. So that's going to be borage, which I don't think I have my borage seeds. I think I used all those too. Yep, I used all those. Okay, so borage and nasturtiums. Nasturtiums have a vining habit, and I will usually plant those either near a trellis or near a fence line and let those go up the fence. That's what I did last year. They're beautiful. This year, I'm just going to let them sprawl on the ground, and I hope that's going to help kind of achieve that ground cover look that I'm looking for, so that I don't have to look at that black weed fabric all season long. And then in addition to the borage and nasturtium, I also did forget-me-nots. I had just a couple of random free seed packets of forget-me-nots for the blues. I definitely wanted some blues in there. It's my favorite color. So the borage is blue and the forget-me-nots are blue. And then I also got this wildflower mixture from Walmart. To fill in the gaps. I don't know exactly all the things that are in here. It does list them, but I don't know what all is in there. But the reason why I got this in particular is because this seed mix was formulated or selected based on staggering the bloom times. So like I said, one of my main goals is there's a yellow jacket just really bugging me right now. One of my main goals is to have a continuous bloom in that wall, this flower wall, so that not everything is dying at the same time. And that's what this packet was specially selected for, is to get all those staggered out for me. So I sprinkled this all throughout all of these rows to kind of help with that. This is my first year doing this, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I'm still really excited about it. I hope it's as beautiful as it looks in my mind. But next I'm going to show you I'm going to actually demonstrate how to plant in this weed fabric flowers specifically. I have 2 tools that make the job so much easier, and I saved a spot over there that I haven't burned holes in yet, and we'll go and demonstrate that for you. Okay, so when I was planting this out the other day, I left some space here so that I could demonstrate this on camera for you. You can see, I don't know if you can see those. Yeah, you can see those holes. So you can see this area right here is where I have not done the holes yet. So the number one or first tool that I use is this torch cane. I tried some handheld torches. They just did not work out. And this is fantastic because you don't have to bend over. You don't have to get on your knees. It has a built-in ignition switch right here. And it just makes burning holes so much easier. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. I'm just going to turn the nozzle on. I'm going to do 4 holes here. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we have 4 holes. Can you see them? Hope you can see them. Yes, 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th one just off camera here. So now I'm going to get the tool number 2 that makes this job a lot easier, and that is this Garden Weasel. If you have ever planted daffodils, tulips, something that has a bulb in it, and you know that you have to plant those a good bit deep in the ground, 4 to 6 inches, if not more. I'm not super knowledgeable about that, but that's what this tool is marketed for. It's called the Garden Weasel. It's got this 6-inch tube, metal tube right here, a built-in step for you to dig it into the ground. It's kind of like a shovel, but basically what you're doing is just creating a plug and taking that plug out of the dirt. I really love this because it allows me to focus my amendments and fertilizers right there at the hole, which is kind of the gardening strategy that I have always used, or that I have grown to use over the years, because it just saves money, it saves resources, and it's easier for me using the no-till method to just amend right there where I'm planting. So let me demonstrate how to use this. Let me get a hole that you can see good. You can see this good right here. Okay, so I'm just gonna stab it kind of in the center right here and step on it just like I would a shovel. Step on it a few times, and then I twist it and pull that plug out. You can see the plug of dirt in there. It's about 6 inches. I'm just gonna knock it down on the ground real quick, get it out. There you can see it is out and ready to dig another hole. Okay, so the next step is just to fill our holes. What we've basically done with that tool is we've created like a little pot inside the ground. So now we're just filling that pot with some good soil. So I've got some good soil here. I have native, if your native soil is good, then you can certainly just backfill it. But you can see my native soil is heavy, heavy clay. So I'm just going to fill in these little holes about 3/4 of the way with this really good soil. Lots of organic matter, some composted horse manure is in there. Okay, the next step is just to go ahead and apply, I think there's a yellow jacket nest around here. They're swarming like crazy around me. I'm really hoping I don't get stung. But anyway, the next step is to go ahead and fertilize. Now I am not a pro at flowers, so I am just going to go ahead and apply a balanced fertilizer. Balance just means the numbers are the same with the 3 numbers, the NPK ratio. They're all the same, like 10, 10, 10, 4, 4, 4. I think what I'm using is 4, 4, 4. That way, I think I'm going to have all my bases covered. But if you're more knowledgeable about flowers than I am, please comment below and let me know what would be the ideal thing to fertilize with. But for now, I'm just going to add 1/2 tablespoon. Got my little 1/2 tablespoon here. I'm just going to add 1/2 tablespoon of this organic fertilizer. This just has, it has like bone meal, alfalfa, some feather meal. I think it might have a little bit of blood meal in it. It's just a good all-purpose balanced fertilizer is what I'm using. So I'm just going to mix that in real good, get it all stirred around. Man, that thing almost hit me in the cheek. These things won't leave me alone today. I bet there's a nest right in there somewhere. I bet there is, right in that mullein. Okay, now it's time to transplant. I thought I would go ahead and demonstrate since I have it here. This is some bells of Ireland that I winter sowed over the winter. If you haven't seen that video, we have a winter sowing video on how you can start all of your seeds in milk jugs outside during winter, and it's fantastic for your flowers and herbs. We also do it for our vegetables too. So what I'm going to do is just cut a little slit on each side, being careful not to cut my plant like I almost just did. And basically just creating a little flap right here that I can press down and make it easier for me to get my hand up under the plants, because the key to transplanting, in case you're new to it, is just to disturb the roots as little as possible. So I don't want to grab from up, I want to grab from below, or I want to move from below, I guess I should say. Okay. Now this is multiple plants, so I have 4 holes here. I'm going to try to get 4 plants. I don't know if I'll be able to. But I'm just going to wiggle my fingers and try to separate these as gently as possible. There's one. And we're just going to transplant. I'll take out a little bit of that dirt up top. And then put it back in around it. Okay, one down. Just going to gently try to pull this apart. Wow, look at that. You see that root? It goes all the way down there. It's a beautiful root system on that one. Get that root down in there. Go away, Mr. Wasp. Oh, you a yellow jacket. Get some of this dirt. Need a little bit more dirt around that one. There we go. Okay, and then this looks like 2 plants right here. It's a big old blob. I'm just going to very gently try to take them apart. There we go. Okay. That's crazy. Get kind of these loose roots off, because not all of those roots are going to be from that one plant, but I'm running my fingers through it and they are not coming out, so maybe they are. Look at that. I need to pull out a good bit of dirt for that one. Get that root down in there as much as I can. Wow. That one was big. Okay. Put that down in there. Okay. One more. This little guy right here. Well, he's not too little. He has a good root system on him too. Okay, here's a closer up. Got those bells of Ireland transplanted. And like I said, I've got 120 holes that stretches down a 50-foot row, 3 rows. And that is going to be our wall of flowers. I cannot wait to see how it progresses, and we'll keep y'all updated throughout the year. Hope that was helpful to y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye.